Aloha. Today I wanted to expand off the last video, just keep going with this trend of observing and interpreting these scientism community perspectives from anchored in a soul and having the observation of the flat earth realm perspective. Just really following the trend of, whatever is becoming more obvious to me of what I should speak about. Because this is literally the heliocentric model is an alchemy. It's a way to trap individuals into a limited frame of consciousness that locks us into a control grid. It locks us into an illusion, and it creates a space of density for people to be dominated and controlled, no different than what happens to a Stockholm victim who, like a child who gets kidnapped by an adult and then starts to get used to the kidnapping environment and then starts to make that their world or their universe. In a sense, the physical reality, the human experiences we are experiencing today has been hijacked, kidnapped. The consciousness has been kidnapped by the colonial system, the university system, the political, dense, fight or flight, survival, monkey mind mentality, and the heliocentric model and the limitations of our relationship with the soul as a whole. That's an actual alchemy, and it's based upon contraction instead of expanding the soul. So as long as you contract, like somebody curled up in the corner, you're in fear, you're in a lower vibration, and you can be dominated and manipulated to pretty much give your power away, give your life essence, give your soul, no different than a civilian signing a contract to go into the military. You're signing your contract of your soul away to illusionists when you buy into the heliocentric model, when you buy into the scientism community, no different than buying into a church that takes advantage of its people. It's no different than the mainstream religions all over the earth plane that are making a profit off of the people, the masses, while saying, this is for your benefit. We're doing this for you. This is everything that we are doing is because we've been empowered by God and so on and so forth. It's all a big illusion to maintain the system of haves and have-nots. So how I'm seeing this is that theories and laws that get created by these mainstream magicians are basically like allegorical alchemy. So the allegories, the stories that we get about the speed of light, the heliocentric model, going to Mars, going to the moon, these are all, or the laws of the universe itself are allegories for the story of the soul, how I'm seeing it. So like I was talking about density or gravity in the previous videos, gravity can be equivalent to density. So gravity is just an allegory to tap in and lock down your subconscious perspective into a limitation law. So a finite law. So your subconscious is infinite. But when you download a law that is finite, like the finite speed of light, then you create a limitation for something that has no limitation, your finite or your infinite space, which could be seen as like your dream space. Like, where does that energy come from? Who are you in the dream space? What is this experience? What are you tapping into in a psychedelic experience? What are you tapping into when you have deep meditative insight or whatever it is? There's something beyond the physical reality. There's the non-physical essence that is your soul. So the allegory of gravity is basically light condensed down to density, and the body being solidified light, the 0.005% of all energy in the spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum, it's just a grain of sand in reference to all of energy, but it still has the potential to produce an experience. So this is how I'm seeing why the flat earth realm is actually the center, which is unknown by the scientism community. They don't know anything beyond the event horizon, which is the outer circle of a black hole. That this is just an allegory again. But the center of a black hole is understood as like great density, or something like the size of, like I said in the last video, something the size of Mount Everest, shrunken down to a grain of sand. So that could be seen as like the energy of the visible light spectrum, the reality, the dense reality, the 0.005% of all energy. This experience could be seen as like the center of a black hole, and then in order to maintain dominance, like a kingdom, become king and god of this limitation universe, those entities who mean to control and dominate, all they need to do is create laws and theories based upon the universe. Those laws and theories have to be based in some kind of understandable truth, consciously and subconsciously, so that the masses will believe into it. This is what I'm calling the allegorical alchemy. So, like, if they were just selling you bullshit, because this is why scientism is so, it's much more difficult to let go of than something like mainstream religions. So when you talk about, the bullshit of the scientism community, then you're actually more attacked than you would be if you were to say something counter to the Christian Bible Jesus stories and all that, taken from particular perspectives, because the scientism community is labeling whatever they are saying as fact. So they have a heavy foot in the conscious reality by selling you the evolution theory, selling you the NASA program, supposedly going to Mars, images of space, images of planets, mathematics and sciences that are designed to explain those physics, that whole reality, and so on and so forth. So that's your conscious reality being locked down, where as the other side, largely in stuff like mainstream religions, you're basically locked down with your subconscious. So God, in a sense, or the Most High, they sell you God, which is pretty much, he represents the infinite, all that is. So that could be seen as the allegory for your subconscious. So being the balances of the as above, so below, the positive, the negative, the light and the dark, the electric and magnetic, the conscious and the subconscious. The conscious is the finite, and the subconscious is the infinite or the infinite. So your infinite perspective of reality is sold back to you by the so-called powers that be, with stuff like mainstream religion. So when that subconscious, largely program, gets pinned up against, or put in the ring up against, like the scientism community, everybody's locked into the conscious reality. Everybody's like, oh, this is a fact. The speed of light is a fact. Gravity is a fact. Look at this. I can just drop this pen and that's gravity. Why don't you just go jump out a window? That's gravity. Why don't you do this? That's gravity. So that's the conscious reality. So if you bring a subconscious, like, it's like talking about a dream in the real life. And then people are like, get out of here with your crazy dreams. What's wrong with you? It's not meant to be compared, and like that's not how those two worlds work. It's meant to flow in harmony and work together. It's not meant to be divided and conquered. So this is another divide and conquer program. Just like I said, the light and the dark, or the masculine and the feminine, is the same thing. It's a divide and conquer program. So the conscious and the conscious, or masculine and subconscious feminine energy, is being divided and conquered by the inherent nature of the scientism community and how they lock us into the physical reality as a whole. The expansion of that is the NASA program and selling you your universe. Next, selling you your quantum universe, which is their next factual interpretation of this reality, which will be the simulation theory, and pretty much creating a simulated version of reality where everything is just extra infinite. If you make everything infinite, which is what these quantum theorists are going to do with their whole perspective of the universe from a simulation theory perspective to set the platform for transhumanism, if everything is just extra infinite forever, then that means, which is the platform for this synthetic universe that these channelers are tapping into, because that's the probable timeline energy or consciousness that those channelers are manifesting from. They're manifesting from that probability being created by the scientism community right now and administered to the masses as a whole. The whole thing is, it's all based upon a separation as a whole. That's why it's so probable. It's probable. It has no roots. So if you make everything infinite, then that makes existence nothing. It disappears the soul. It disappears the most high energy. It disappears all that and just quantifies it from a technological perspective. So it takes your soul essence that is connected, that has a natural essence to it. It takes that essence and then turns it into a machine. So your body is basically a machine. Like Bill Nye is telling you that your consciousness is just your brain, based upon his observation that when people get older, their brain starts to deteriorate. So that means that their consciousness is deteriorating. What kind of simple ass generic perspective is that? But that's how these entities, assholes, work when they're trying to lock you into a limitation universe. They have to create these dead ends and these stop signs and these speed bumps to make you buy into the program as it goes on, selling you the future, selling you SpaceX in 2020, we're going to go to Mars. NASA's going to go to Europa in 2045. We're going to go here. We're going to find life on here. And we're going to find life on Mars. They're already making movies about this to create this watering of the mouth for your slave owners to sell you another limitation program. So this movie that just came out, Life, is based upon finding life on Mars. And then this life turned out to be destroying the International Space Station because it just needs to survive. So it's this whole thing that it's fear. It's fear, allegories, alchemy, deception, illusions, limitation. All of it gets sold to the mass consciousness in order to maintain low vibrations or idiocracy, pretty much. So you don't have to be super smart to be smarter than some dipshit that you've programmed to be a dipshit for their entire life. In fact, you programmed their generations before them to, be an egoic, artificial, dipshit forever. So it's not that difficult to control people. This is what's happening with the public education system, the university system, where only certain people can go to school, and other people who grow up in poverty, you think they're just dumber because they grew up in poverty? Fuck no. But that's what the mentality wants you That's what the program wants you to believe when you have a university system the way it's designed to make only the rich people go to school while the majority of the impoverished aren't qualified based upon the fiat currency system to have a fucking education. It's ridiculous the way this entire universe is set up. And this is why I keep saying that until we challenge the entire system, you're not going to be doing anything. Until we challenge the entire colonial program, until you challenge the entire university system, the scientism community, until you challenge and let go of all of the mainstream religious limitation programs that have been designed. All of this is designed to make you feel comfortable, but it's within a synthetic universe that ultimately turns you into a slave. And the way you believe into this universe as being the peak of all this stuff is because you believe in the human evolution theory by monkey evolution and dinosaurs and the heliocentric model and Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Nye, Michio Kaku, Ray Kurzweil, and Brian Cox getting on a big microphone, no different than these Hollywood celebrities like getting on a microphone talking about politics. Like, who the fuck are you? Like, where did you come from? Like, what's all this? Where's all this coming from? Why aren't people from inside the community actually speaking about this? Why don't we have a voice? So that's the artificial universe that all of these professors pretty much in these Neil deGrasse Tysons and Bill Nyes, they're all actors. They have the same effect on the consciousness as the Hollywood program affects people and consciousness overall as a whole. So this pretty much sets the platform for this idea of the speed of light, because like I said in the last videos, gravity represents density. It's the illusion of something to create a limitation, to create all this that makes you think a certain way. And then you just believe in whatever it is that they sell you in the next storyline. So gravity is density. The speed of light, how I'm seeing it, is representing the soul. So light is the soul. So your speed of the soul being shrunken down by apparently gravity into this physical reality experience could be seen as the soul being sucked into a black hole, into the flat earth realm physical reality. Locked into the dense vibrations of solidified light, or the light, the physical body. So the relationship within the physical body and the light body is the same relationship with the conscious and the subconscious, or the light and the dark, or the feminine and the masculine, or the electric and the magnetic. So the magnetic pulls you in, and the electric is the light, the expansion, the spark. So all of these balances within this particular universe are in themselves an alchemy that our ancestors were determining or deciphering in many ways, which built the pyramids, which potentially built technology to, or harness the technology that didn't have to be like a machinery, harness some kind of technological understanding of this universe that created sites like Machu Picchu and all of the other sites that the mainstream scientific community, has no idea how it was built. As long as we keep believing these people who just continue to look the other way in reference to the ancestors and channel that energy, that gap of them looking the other way, into aliens, a storyline, until as long as we keep believing in that perspective, you're just going to allow the so-called powers that be to expand. So this is where when they create all these laws and these theories, it's to maintain and expand the illusions overall, which is an actual alchemy through creating storylines or allegories that are largely representative of something that is real, something that has some kind of subconscious truth to it. So the allegory of gravity in reference to density is the truth, in a sense that your physical body is housing the soul, the same way that, or is having a relationship between the physical and the non-physical. So the same way that the so-called speed of light really is just an allegory for the soul. So your soul being shrunken down into, like the black hole shrinks down Mount Everest to a grain of sand, the soul being shrunk down, or light being shrunk down into a physical body in order to have an experience. So why, like in reference to the black hole allegory, why does Mount Everest shrink down into a grain of sand? Well, you could just see that as the soul going into the body. So going deeper into what the soul is in reference to their allegories, the speed of light could be seen as a soul. So the speed of light in reference to the scientism definition, the finite speed of light, confirm you're looking at now, for light to cover a distance equal to the diameter of Earth's orbit, which is about 182 million miles, it needs a speed of about 186,000 miles per second. So all of this is based upon, their speed of light is based upon the heliocentric model. This is why it's so intense for people to be talking about the flat earth realm, because the very nature of the university system the legs get cut out right under it. And you start to challenge the very nature of the laws and the theories of this universe, and start to question the individuals who created all that stuff for you. So everything is tumbling over. It's not a matter of knowing that the earth is flat. It's really about knowing that the earth isn't what we've been told it is. We really won't know what it exactly is. I don't know when, but I know one thing, that you can call a bag of shit once you see it. And that's what they're really afraid of, the so-called powers that be, because they've been selling that bag of shit as your lunch, your school lunch, for your entire life. And you just been eating a bag of shit and calling it, the best thing since sliced bread forever, and defending it. It's like, oh, don't talk about my lunch. What are you talking about? This is the best lunch that humanity has ever created. Would you rather be like a monkey or a caveman? All these defense mechanisms that get created in response or reaction to the original illusion. It's all based upon the finite universe. They will never go into the infinite. This is why the speed of light exists, because it creates a limitation for your souls. Like, we can quantify light, we can quantify the soul. It creates a limitation. It creates a boxed in universe that they can sell you. It's the same way gravity creates this general thing, and they could just say something like, well, look, I just dropped this apple. That proves gravity. Come on, guys. And then you're just like, wait a second, what are you talking about? Like, it's ridiculous. So anyway, I want to close this out because I really just wanted to reference the speed of light as the soul, and how the soul really is getting pushed out of the soul, and the relationship the soul has as a manifestation from the Most High. All of this energy is getting pushed out by the quantum perspective, or the quantum universe, the simulation theory. Like I said, as long as they're pushing this, because like I said, when they were controlling people with low vibrations of war and destruction, the new age control grid is to control people with so-called love and light. From the scientism perspective, The old way was to control people with the finite universe, which is the heliocentric model. And the new way to control people is to sell you the infinite or the infinite universe. And in that, the same thing happens. You are powerless. You are empty. You have zero purpose. You have zero connections. You have nothing. You're just a floating bag of shit like you were when you were... you're a floating bag of shit in an infinite universe of other floating bags of shit. And then no different than the grain of shit that you were when you were spat out of the Big Bang, turned into a monkey, and then turned into a high school diploma carrying an iPhone 7. Like, congratulations, existence. Good job. You did it. So it's nothingness from a negative perspective in the past, now being converted into nothingness from the perspective of somethingness. It's just another way to create limitation and control, and pretty much just sell this this reality that has no purpose, no meaning, no compassion, no connection, no natural connections, no roots. It just removes the natural essence of who and what you are and replaces it with some sort of synthetic understanding or interpretation of your reality. So, to expand upon the speed of light, to add to the idea of the soul, the thing is that Einstein, this is like quoting Einstein's perspectives of the speed of light and so on and so forth, says that if you move at the speed of light, you don't age. And if you do move at the speed of light, if you're actually moving at the speed of light, you can't have mass. So the speed of light actually transcends the density universe. So that is your soul transcending the physical reality. So this is how I'm saying that this system uses allegorical alchemy to sell you deception guised in through subconscious truth. So you believe in the deception because subconsciously it feels true to you, but you're not interpreting the deception as a deception because it makes sense, because they have coded it or labeled it as a law. And all these other laws are largely theories. They're all just based upon somebody's idea and then told you, no, this, like forced upon you, like in the movie Get Out when she says, go, and sends him into the sunken place. It has the same effect when she says, go there. That's the same effect that the law, when they say this is the law of relativity, this is the law of gravity, this is the law of such and such. That is them sinking you into the sunken place, and basically you're hypnotized. You're hypnotized by these illusions. So the only way to get out of there is to break the illusions, but you can't break the illusions unless you are rooted in something that is deeper than their illusions, while also understanding, or at least opening the door to interpreting those illusions in the first place, because you can't just look the other way from the cancer. You have to remove the cancer. See, the system, the cancerous system itself just wants to put Band-Aids on the cancer and tell you that they're fixing this stuff. This is what all this climate change bullshit talk is. This is what all these politics, and this is what technology is as a whole, selling you technology as the next evolutionary step of humanity into transhumanism and into simulationism and so on and so forth. It's all a garbage program being sold as like fine china. It's like the this is the peak, the essence of, everything. It's like, no, this is trash. You are selling trash to people. Look at your phone. You think that your smartphone, you think that stuff wasn't invented 30, 40 years ago? They're selling you stuff from the 70s so they can make money off of it right now. Everybody knows this. This is a known fact, but we act like it doesn't exist because largely we are hopeless and helpless and have nowhere to put it. We don't have anything to do with it. But as long as we start to continue to realize that this is what's going on, it will help other people realize that they're actually paying into a slave system. Because people, just as much as some people can already know that the technology that we have today was actually out in the 70s, if not before that, then there are still people, just as much as there are people who believe like that, there are people who don't know that and actually worship this iPhone 7 reality as the end all be all of existence. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's the majority of people who are really experiencing this place right now, because that is the normal program. It's normal to think like that. It's normal to believe in that system. That's how it's projected to us. These laws and theories are sold to us. That's normal. And it's easy. It's comfortable to accept the normal program. The thing that gets lost when you accept a normal program is that you separate yourself from nature. That is the design that makes these haves and have-nots programs expand and makes these artificial gods and kings over you, who just believe yourself into this fake political Western civilization colonial universe that is based upon theories and laws that are just lies and deception overall. So all of it is an alchemy in its essence. So you can't have mass. So by even having the speed of light, it creates a misunderstanding of the soul, or a lack of understanding of the soul, because you just think that your reality is just based upon what they tell you light and mass is. And it's this number, 186,000 miles per second. I mean, come on, don't ask any more questions. The smartest people in the world have already figured this out. And they did it. I mean, over and over again. This is proven based upon the heliocentric model and how many times the Earth orbits around the sun and so on and so forth. So you're just a big dummy dumbhead if you think any otherwise. It's just ridiculous. So this is allegorical alchemy that is designed to have an effect. The effect is dormancy, distraction, destruction, separation through the divide and conquer program, and passivity. You become passive when you allow magicians to sell you your universe, and then agree that, or just accept that the universe that they're selling to you is your truth. Instead of questioning it, you believe it. You just believe it into the existence. That's an actual alchemy at a soul level that has an effect on your experience, individually and collectively. So the technology is designed, it is inherently designed to lock you into the physical universe. Look at it with your natural eyes, not your normal eyes. Your normal eyes are based upon the glasses that they gave to you. So like in the movie They Live, you put on the glasses, you can see the reptilians or whatever it is. The thing is that they don't tell you is that there are glasses that are being put on people, which is the normal program. The mainstream consciousness is glasses that work backwards. They work backwards in reference to the They Live movie. So the mainstream religions, the university system, the government, the politics, the Hollywood, the movies, these are all glasses, sunglasses that make you see the universe from a distorted perspective based upon the physical reality. And this new quantum reality. So all of that is based upon like a cosmic speed limit. So that those glasses are basically a cosmic speed limit. So your soul has the potential to move beyond. It exists at the speed of light. So you have the potential to move beyond that speed of light once you anchor yourself in the soul. The thing is, when you lock yourself into the mass density, gravity, limitation reality at the center of a black hole, then you are subjecting yourself to a cosmic speed limit. And if you don't get up enough speed, like in Back to the Future, if you don't reach 88 miles an hour, you're not going to be able to travel beyond time, forwards or backwards in time, because you are just locked into whatever timeline that has been delivered to you. This goes in reference to traveling at the speed of light. If you travel at the speed of light, you won't age. They're talking about your physical body. So who is the you that is not aging, that is actually traveling? The you that is actually traveling is your soul. So it's not your body. That your soul is not affected by the speed of light, because your soul is at its core the speed of light, using their allegory. Obviously, it's just all bullshit, like gravity and the speed of light, it's all bullshit. But using their allegory for an alchemical interpretation of how this works against us, your soul exists beyond and can move beyond that particular, what they're calling a speed. So the next, like I said, like how religion was, the old school religions were designed to lock down your soul essence and your experience overall through fear, God fearing, and all that other stuff. And now the new age is the new religion. And all of these are going to be activated at the same time. The new age and the quantum scientism, simulation theory perspective with CERN and all this stuff is going to be activated. The alien agenda, all of this stuff is going to be activated at the same time. So people will be so bombarded with this idea of what new is and what's changing. They could even come from the flat earth perspective, from just another limitation perspective of the flat earth perspective when they science the shit out of it. But basically, the point is that just as they're selling you, they used to sell the religions through fear, now the new religion is going to be sold to you with love. The idea of love. This is what the new age community is. No different than the scientism community selling you the finite universe of the heliocentric model in the past, and the new version of reality selling you the quantum theory perspective based upon simulation theory, which is just an infinite everything, an infinite universe. And there's no balance. As long as you're kept in the extremes, now they can sell you the quantum universe or the infinite, and them trying to interpret the infinite quantum simulation universe from a technological perspective, try to tap into that with technology. They can try to do that forever. They can just buy another 150 years from the human consciousness who's just allowing it to be, who's just allowing these so-called powers that be to continue to excel those programs over and over again. As long as we keep believing it, as long as we keep accepting their illusions, they'll keep passing them out. So the quantum reality is the new Big Bang. It's the new origin, the new beginning, and it creates this instead of them being like, oh well, we didn't create these laws to enslave and control people. It was just a mistake based upon people who had limited technology back in the day. Now we have a new technology because we're better people now, and we have a better technology than we did back in the day. So now we have an understanding of the universe that transcends the Big Bang, and it's actually a simulation that's an infinite Big Bang. There's an infinite number of Big Bangs happening all the time, and there's just banging shit all over the place. It's infinite bangs. And then we're just like, ooh, that means there's another Earth and we can go in between timelines and all this other. You've heard the gibberish that gets sold by the Discovery Channel, National Geographic, History Channel, Ancient Aliens Perspectives, the Interdimensional Travel. This is all the alien agenda platform creations. So, like I said, the old way was to create limitation. The new way is to create infinite everything. But you're still a human, so we didn't even understand what the finite is. Now they want to jump into the infinite, the infinite. So we don't know anything. But who knows everything? The people who are telling you. Those are those people who know everything. They can turn that into control and dominance over you and divide you even further to create a box within a box. This is how that community works. That system works this way in order to. This is the alchemy of that system. So yeah, the Big Bang to the simulation theory, which will replace the soul. So they'll throw religion, mainstream religion, under the bus, and the baby that gets thrown out with that bus or that bathwater is the soul. The same thing that's going to happen with the fake religion to get thrown under the bus is Scientology, in order to create the superhero religion, which is the New Age perspective, which welcomes aliens and has all this New Age stuff that you'll just buy into because it's love and light and filled with compassion and peace and harmony and free energy, and everything will just be okay, and rainbows and gumdrops. And so, I mean, who's gonna say anything that is counter to that? And if you do, they'll just attack you with their love and light swords. So anyway, yeah, so that's pretty much everything I wanted to share with this video. Just to emphasize from the speed of light perspective, I just really wanted to share, like I was talking about gravity in relation to density, I wanted to emphasize the speed of light in relation to the soul and manifesting into this dense reality and adding to this collapsed star experience or black hole experience of what's at the center in relation to density and light, or density and the soul. And the speed of light is how they're subconsciously selling this fake theory of what's really going on, so you can subconsciously believe what's going on and then consciously or subconsciously accept what's going on, but consciously believe what's going on because you've believed everything else that this program has told you. Yeah, and the new space is when they sell you infinity, everything is just nothing. Everything in existence is nothing. Just when you're a cosmic mistake, you're nothing. So if you're an infinite pebble of nothingness in an infinite number of cosmic mistakes, then you're nothing from another perspective. So it takes away your meaning and your purpose, and it pretty much separates you from your soul essence. So that's pretty much what I want to share with this video. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, from all my relations, peace, love, and harmony.